Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to take your logo and put it onto a stock product image. So I've got my finished logo here. It's for my Warmonger video game company. In the latest version of Adobe, in 2025, Adobe's added a mock-up function. You can see how I've done this in the past, putting on a sweatshirt or a hat or a game box. So what I'm going to do first is look up a blank, so I can look up trucker hat blank, or how about a coffee cup blank? So I've got an image here of a coffee cup blank, so I want to put this on a coffee cup. I now just copy this image, right click on it, go down to copy, paste this into my Illustrator, and now here's the thing that most people forget. I want to grab my logo, copy it, paste it, so I have two copies, put them roughly on top of each other, select them both, and then this little pop-up shows up, Create Mockup. So I click the Create Mockup button. It takes a second while it figures out the shape of my coffee cup and tries to figure out how to put this logo on top of that coffee cup. We'll let it wait here for a second. It's loading, loading, creating, 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 creating. There we go. So now my logo is on this coffee cup. And as I take the pieces of this logo, I can move them around the edge of the item. I can also hold Shift to increase it evenly in size. If I don't hold Shift, it will get stretched out. We don't want to do that. We want to hold Shift while we increase it. And there you have it. Now, the only thing I didn't do this time, and I'm going to go back and do it because I should have done this before. If you have a problem like I did where it's only letting you adjust certain pieces of the object at a time, you want to make sure you go and select all of these objects, hit Command G to group them together first so that they all live as one happy little group. Command G for group. So if I select these again, and then I click that Create Mockup button once again, we will see, waiting, 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 waiting. There we go. Now they can all be stretched and resized as one, which is nice if I really want a Hujongo logo. Or I can move the whole thing as one piece, place it on my coffee cup so that people know just what it is they might be buying from me. So coffee cup's easy. The last thing I'm going to show you, just so that we understand the potential, it doesn't have to be something as simple as a cup. Let's see if I can find like a white sports car. I say a sports car because sports cars have crazy lines, and it's harder for images to get placed on it. It does a pretty good job. I'll grab this weird Nissan Nismo, whatever that is. I'll never afford it, so I'm not that interested. Alright, put that there. Copy this logo. Group it together. Grab these two things and create mockup. So, when it's on something like a car, you can then end up using this rotate feature, probably more than I would ever use on a coffee cup. Remember to hold Shift while you scale so it ends up being even. I can plop my logo right there on the hood of this interesting Nissan. Or I can put it on the door. That probably makes, you know, for a better mock-up. Let's get that square and then maybe shrink it down just a bit. It's like the Batmobile, but for my video game company. Now, you're going to need to do one last thing in order to get these images out of Adobe Illustrator. You need to have an artboard that lives behind these pictures. So I'm going to go and add an artboard using the artboard tool. It's this one right here, artboard. You can also hit Shift O on your keyboard to make an artboard. So I'm going to just draw some artboards. And you can see for each illustration I get, I got artboard 8, artboard 9, artboard 10. When I go and export this file, export, export as, I can create some PNGs, and I want to make sure that I use those artboards. so that it gives me an artboard for each one of those things. If I now go into my brand design folder, and I'm going to add a suffix because I've done this before. Cool. If I say export, high quality, it's going to export every one of these images. I don't want to replace anything. Let's actually save this as a new file so I don't overwrite anything. We'll call this Warmonger 2. And now if I go ahead and export this, I won't get that error. File, export as .png, use artboards, export, okie dokie. For each version of this logo, I will then end up with an image. We're looking for images 8 and 9, which are artboards 9 and 10. So if I go into my digital design folder and then go look up my brand design, we should see in here Warmonger 2. There's my beautiful Nissan with the logo imposed on it. There's my coffee cup. So as you're going through creating things, that's how you can use the Mockup tool in Adobe Illustrator to create mock-ups of your product using your brand.